All right, it's the Young Turks FANalyst, week number 9. Look at this. We're standing. We're crazy like that. We try different things on the Young Turks. All right, this is Anna Kasparian, if you've never met her before.
Hello.
If you're just part of the FANalyst program. How are you, Anna?
I'm doing great.
Anna, you're going to help me with this today?
Yes.
Even though you know nothing about football.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we want to do something a little different. We want to talk about coaches today, and then we'll come back and talk about fantasy football. So, do you have any questions for me on any coaches?
Yeah, what about Bill Belichick?
Nicely done. Okay, look, here's the situation. I want to talk about coaches this week because some things are really noteworthy. First off, Bill Belichick. Come on, dude, you got to give him his props, man. 5-2 with the Patriots. After the Titans, they're the second best team in the whole AFC. He lost Tom Brady, obviously, but he also lost a starting running back. Dude, he's starting Matt Cassell and a dude I have to look up. I mean, what's his name? Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. Who knew that guy before the season? And they're 5-2. Meanwhile, you take the crappy coaches like Norv Turner and Wade Phillips. San Diego Chargers, Dallas Cowboys, probably the two most talented teams in the NFL, combined 8-8. Norv Turner sitting at 3-5 with those Chargers. Man, he sucks. Why do they keep giving him a job over and over?
What about Jim Haslett?
Good question. I'm glad you asked. Okay, he got a total new lease on life, man. First 2 games with St. Louis when he got named the head coach, he won, and with that crappy team, and everybody's like, oh, he's a rah-rah guy. He gets everybody excited. Now he's going to get a 2-more-year contract. But mark my words, he still sucks. And we can't have a discussion about coaches without talking about Mike Singletary this week. We got a whole different Young Turks clip on Mike Singletary. When he went off on Vernon Davis, I loved it. He's like, we're all about winning here, okay? And we're about team. You go get him, Mike. All right, now let's do fantasy football.
All right,
okay?
I really want you to educate me on quarterbacks.
Once again, I'm glad you asked,
See?
Anna. I love the way she's doing this. As if she really cares. All right, so quarterbacks. Look, I want to tell you guys who's underrated because you don't need me to tell you to pick up Phillip Rivers or Jay Cutler even, who are both doing terrific, and of course Drew Brees. So the guys that I'd go for this week are Matt Ryan and David Gerard. Gerard has been doing much better, and he's kind of forgotten in some of the leagues. And Matt Ryan was still available in my league, and my league is real deep. And he's had some real solid weeks back-to-back. So if you're looking for a quarterback, that's the way to go. As far as the guy you dump, Ben Roethlisberger, it's over. I have him. And it's not his fault. He's a good quarterback, but his line is like a sieve. It leaks like a sieve. Everybody's going to start to blitz him now, and they just can't get it done. So I'd dump him and grab one of the other 2 guys.
Running backs.
All right, I'm glad you asked again. D'Angelo Williams has been peaking. Jamal Lewis, Kevin Falk. Now, D'Angelo Williams, you're probably a little late on because he's already done well for 2 or 3 weeks in a row. But Jamal Lewis might still be trade bait in some places. I'd pick him up. Kevin Falk obviously did well last week, so the guy who has him wants to hang on to him more. If he's still available in your league, definitely pick him up. The guy to dump, Edgerrin James. Forget about it, man. It's over for the Edge. I feel bad saying that, but it's definitely over.
Cenk Uygur, what is the latest news on receivers?
Well, I'm glad you asked again because there's some real nuggets here. Roddy White has been terrific. Bernard Berrien has been terrific. And they might still be undervalued because Roddy White has sucked for so many years. People might still think, no, he's not going to continue to do well. And what you could do is maybe trade some of your high-name guys who have not been doing well. Randy Moss had 2 weeks in a row that were good, but it's the perfect time to trade him. I'd trade Randy Moss for Bernard Berrien and Roddy White in a second. And you might even be able to snooker somebody into that deal, even though those other 2 receivers have been doing better because on Randy Moss's name value and the last 2 weeks where he performed better. And if you have Patrick Creighton, drop him like a rock. He sucks. He's never going to get better.
And defenses?
Finally, the one underrated defense is the Cleveland Browns. Not picked up in a lot of leagues, and they've been kicking ass lately. Look at their numbers. They're doing much, much better than expected. I'd go and grab those guys. That's all we got for you this week. Anna, thank you for helping me out.
Thank you.
It's the Young Turks FANalyst week number 9.